Hello, my friends. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I wanted to get that out there. I wanted to throw out the
Alhamdulillah.
longest. Yeah, I wanted to get the really big, obnoxious word out there so that when we do our first of the items, which we're about to begin, this is the item video, it doesn't seem quite so ridiculous. And we
Baku
begin with
Hatsugama. Come on, man.
Baku Hatsugama.
Baku
That's,
Hatsugama.
Baku Hatsugama. It is a two-handed chain. This is like the chain you put on, like, so Jesse sometimes, because of the scoundrels with whom he associates in foreign countries, he has to. Do you still wear your wallet on a chain to protect your bus pass? Is that a
I
thing?
actually put my pager on a chain, so that when I'm skateboarding in my Vans shoes, actually when I'm
On
street
your way,
surfing, when I'm
on
street
your way
surfing
to
in my Vans shoes,
Lollapalooza, which I'm told still exists.
it
So
does
that's
still exist. I went to a Lollapalooza. It was fun. Anyway,
when did you go recently?
nah, that was years ago. So you missed the obvious commentary on this card, which is to sing chain, chain, chain,
Oh,
chain of
nice.
fools,
I
which
I
you
missed.
would be if you play this card. See, get it? It's like the land scrub land. If you play it, you're a scrub. Like if you play this,
Yeah.
you're a chain of fools. Because 5 gold for +3 two-handed, that like bows. Like why? I guess it's like a slightly improved.
+3, +1. So we've played +3, +2 in a number of different decks. +3, +2
The
for
card, yeah, right.
5.
The card to compare this to is Bow of Ritual Blessings, right? Which is an 8
Right.
gold +3, +2 with the same ability and no honor loss. Except it's not the same ability because it doesn't blow itself up if you target a guy with attachments.
Yeah, I think you're being a bit flippant.
Flippant.
I think that I don't think this card is good, but I think it's going to see some play
Never.
in these sort of item Scorpion decks and some of
What
the
item Scorpion deck?
Tataki. There was one in the top 8 Gen Con. The whoever that guy is in New Orleans. Bob Martin. Bob Martin, I remember.
Okay, you
It's
got there.
early.
You got there, man.
Yeah, you could play some of these. I could see it in playing it in Tatakan Crab Sensei decks, where I bow something else to the Sensei to make the ranged attack, and then I bow this to bow somebody. Obviously, if your opponent has all people with attachments, this card is terrible. So you just have to deal with that. But it's not bad. I don't think
we'll
it's
cross
real
that
good.
bridge when we get there. I guess like 5 force for 3 gold is okay. It's just that.
Yeah.
Again, like if we're just saying that this is like a Hachiro's Legion with upside, like Hachiro's Legion has more force. I don't know. Like
Yeah, I think this is better than Hachiro's Legion. I'd rather have this than Hachiro's Legion. I think there are other better attachments that I'd rather have than this. But I mean, I think that this is a fine card, and I think it's pretty good in some sort of unicorn decks. If little bit of honor losses. I like it. It's not a world beater, but like when someone plays that card against me, my first thought isn't gonna be like, oh, that card sucks, you should play something else. I'm gonna say like, yeah, okay, that's a bow effect, get some stat bonuses.
yeah, the other thing is that items like attachments are never world beaters. Like figuring out the proper attachment is always just like a metagame balance of gold, force, and power. And like this one's, I guess, interesting in the sense of like you can make this determination of I buy a much cheaper attachment for like a slightly less powerful ability, planning not to see that many item decks.
The stuff on the edges always matters. We played, instead of Bow of Ritual Blessing, we played Awakened Naginata in our one Scorpion deck, right? Because it cycled itself. But when I first built the deck, I played Bow of Ritual Blessing, which had the stage stats, and I'm not even 100% sure we made the right call in the end, right? Like, you play around with these item slots a lot, and this is one that people.
Okay, so Baku Hatsugama is in the running. I take back all. I mean, I don't take it back, but I temper.
Let's get to the good one. Come on, the good ones.
All right, let's go to the box of mysteries.
It's not a mystery. This is box of. Hey, look, everybody! We made a card for Paul Ashman. Look, right here. It's here.
Right here. This one. So this card costs 2 gold. Don't let that 0 fool you. You will never play this card for 0 gold. And yeah, it lets you. It does everything. Like you put it on your. It does everything for us. You put it on your guy, and then you can dig 1 card deeper with your Emerald Champion card. It like cycles stuff. Like what doesn't this card do?
And the answer is do its thing in the open phase, and that's why it's actually a terrible card, right? Like the fact that it's a battle here.
I just assumed that this was an open card. Brian Reese.
You walked right into it. Right. So, um, and that's why it's a bad card, right? So the fact that it gives you +1 chi, they had to put the challenges thing on it.
Your
I don't.
definition of has to and mine are different, but I accept it.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to let you have a situation where you could put 3 of these on a guy. I mean we would be
The
fine with that,
Box of
but
Mysteries bully dueling deck. Come on, man.
it doesn't. Yeah, I don't understand. So the good news is you can do it unopposed. The bad news is you have to do it in battle, and so you don't get to like go crazy with like trying
No,
to
the
hot
good
chip.
news is that you can attach this to the Scorpion Ninja guy who makes you issue a challenge to him, and then bully duel it that way.
You know, that's a fun interaction that I kind of love, and it has a full focus as like the the ability isn't has all these problems to it, and so because it has all these problems, it's free and gives you a cheap bump and has a good focus. So I actually just really like this as a fun designed card. I think it's a card that we'll sort of look at and play some things with. Probably won't actually be in any real competitive decks, but you know, it's a fun sort of what if card and how can I make it work and what can I do to make this card effective. The obvious place is discipline cards,
Yeah.
but there might be other things, right? There might be
I mean, it
like
needs
discard
discipline cards. The fact that you're
back.
taking a tempo hit to cycle a single card is really a head scratcher. Unless you're tossing a discipline, this card is like just garbage, garbage.
Yeah, it's gonna take some work to come up. But I just, we've seen cards like these things like coin pouches and stuff that were free and have some fun, interesting effects, and they
I
just
love that they're
never.
out there, you know. I love like
Yeah,
picking through the binder and like, oh, what's this? I'll try to make this in a deck. Like,
yep. And this is one of those. And our next card is one of those as well. That would be the Clan Mon. And this is the. I don't even know. I was going to compare it to a shout or something, but that's not even really right. And you can have as many as you want. You can play 40 of these
that
things
is
if you.
standard. Followers have +1. Fear equal to the
Yeah.
number of standards in this army. That's a head scratcher. But I do love the followers in this. We're gonna have +1. Also, this is a +1 chi
For free
for
that you
free.
can put as many on. And that was a point I wanted to make. So it's 0 focus, unlike the 4 focus. So it doesn't feel as much as like, hey, but if I won't be shocked if they create, because of the way it invests and draws itself, I won't be shocked if there's some sort of really weird bully dually deck that plays a bunch of clan mons and just gets a guy to 10
Well,
G.
you can only attach to a samurai without a standard.
Oh, without one, so you can
Yeah,
only
so
have
you can
your
only have
one. Oh,
one.
yeah.
But it's
So
still
you
like
have
a
to
one
like have
bump.
a bunch of
I
dudes.
mean, it's a 0. There's no way that dueling decks play it. It's a 0 focus. It's just a
No,
2
you're
drop.
right. Yeah,
Like
I forgot.
it's a straight like follower. It's a straight like Philippines card. But I mean, and it's really great in that deck because it
You only
replaces
get
itself. It
one.
draws you another card. Like it gives all your guys a force bonus. It's just that deck's no good. And like, come on, Jesse, move on already.
Yeah, I mean, but so someone might try to build a clan on deck, and that's fine. Like that's
They'd be a
good luck.
fool. A fool, I tell you.
People like to try these things. They might try a deck that's like all play.
I can envision a deck that plays Clanmon. Like that's fine, but I cannot envision
Right,
a
but
deck that plays an
instead of
arbitrarily
playing the
large number of them.
Philippines deck, they might just play a Philippines-like deck. We have a deck, but instead of putting everything on one unit, you put it on 4 units. Those 4 units have standard. Like, that might be a variation that someone comes up. Not great, but maybe.
You need a way to generate token. If you want to play a gazillion of these, you need a way to generate token followers. I don't know that the environment has any like Beneca. You need like
Yeah.
Beneca, and there's no Beneca.
Brothers in Arms kind of stuff. You go Brothers in Arms, put it down one. It spreads it amongst different guys.
I like bigger. I want to go bigger than that.
Armories. Okay,
I know.
but anyway, so on to Light Tetsubo, which has a heavy weapon, but not a Tetsubo.
It's a light Tetsubo with the heavy weapon trade. Can we talk about what's going on? The keyword game has gotten out of hand.
And I got worse. I have Whippoorwillow issues because what's the keyword say?
One-handed. Oh, it's true. Oh, absolutely. This is absolutely a whippoorwill fail. Oh my lord. Let's count the hands on the weapon, everybody. One hand. 2 hands.
And it's like the whole picture. It's not don't get the Tetsubo like on the table or something. The whole picture is like the 2
hands. Like you can't miss it. What a mess.
It's heavy,
Oh,
and then
man.
the one hand.
Come on, guys. I thought we were getting better. I thought all the guys on horses were cavalry. Like all the duelist guys were like either in action slicey poses or like underneath trees, like sakura trees. We were doing
Yeah.
really good, and then
And then you made it.
you missed the big miss.
It is a +1 chi thing
Yeah,
for
but
one.
so
It's
is
like
stockpiled weapons. Like, we don't
Kensei.
care about
So
that.
there's some sort of. Well, I'm trying to think like it's a Kensei kind of weapon is why you care that it's one-handed. So it's like a straight. It's for Kensei decks, right? I attack with my hand and
It's for
bow and
Scorpion Kensei, which is really bizarre because it's a Tetsubo. I guess like it's another keyword. So like,
it is.
I guess
You
so.
said
Let's
for
see.
Scorpion because of the
So like,
badness.
remember, there's like the Scorpion guys that care about having different kinds of weapons, right? Or the Sensei cares about having
Right.
different kinds. So like, I guess so. Shugenja play los keyword juegos. I guess Scorpion guys play le jeu des mots clés, and so this is like an entrant to that. So when you're playing le jeu des mots clés, you can like put this down, and like that's their like whatever French Telemundo is called, like their France one, or
Sure.
like Tout le monde fromage network. And okay, it gives madness tokens. I could care less. I'm really curious how holding a light Tetsubo with two hands, like, does anything about this card say to you like madness?
Straight
No.
your guy or madness. It doesn't. It's
It's just
completely.
like this stinks of like, we're
The,
canceling the game. What art is left? Like, all right, well, change the name and slap it on, guys.
The title and art in no way reflect the card
It's like,
mechanic.
it could have been like,
I can't get past it. I feel like there might be a place for this, and like every deck has some number of its straighten effects, and the fact that you can do this in a battle.
oh look, they were doing flavor damage control in the text box. Check it out. But can still be wielded in both hands for added damage. Like, no, not buying it, guys. Like, I can read. It's one-handed. It's got two hands. It's called a light Tetsubo. It's a heavy weapon.
It's still a heavy weapon. I know that. You know how I know that because you just told it. It was a heavy weapon.
That's right. All right, moving on. Purity's Fist. Now this one does look like that looks heavy. I don't think I could pick that up.
That
like
looks at it. Thor-esque.
melee 3 attack with -1 strength if the target has a two-handed weapon, and +1 strength if the target is Shadowlands. So this is like the season 4 like French Spanish crossover like ish edition. Like best of the Keyword Games International.
I feel like now they're putting this on just because they want to force people to read their opponent.
I refuse. Yeah, I refuse to engage with this card. Like, if I bow it, I'll be like, you tell me. Like, I'm just gonna like target a guy that has 3/4 and be like, you tell me, man. Like, does it go through? Does it whiff or not? Like, I ain't reading that card. I don't know. Is that a heavy weapon? You tell me.
They make noise. They're like, they know that nobody's paying. They're sitting around with it. They're like, how can we've spent all this awesome time playing this keyword game and nobody's paying attention. Nobody knows. Like, I know. Let's make it so you have to read your opponent's
Here's what's
cards.
great. Here's what's great. Is that someone's going to attach a light Tetsubo to their guy. You're going to look at the picture and be like, oh man, it's a two-handed weapon. Like, what a blowout. I can't get him with my Purity's Fist. And all the while, it's really a one-handed weapon, and you can get him. It's like the art blows you out left and right. Like, what a disaster. I don't understand. Like, this keyword game thing is just, it's...
More sort of like trolls. Read the last sentence of the flavor text is simple, pragmatic, and effective.
Is that what this is? Is this simple, pragmatic, or it's like trolls within trolls? Like it's like a Russian doll, where you open it up and there's like a trolley keyword, and then you open it up and there's a trolley keyword, and you open it up and there's trolley art, and then you open it up and there's like trolley flavor text, and there's like you open it up and like Brian Reese is chucking up the deuces, and like John Zinser's like holding a big fat paycheck for selling L5R. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
That's like Russian doll crab weapons. Revered Blade.
After you equip this item, gain an honor for each province you have destroyed this game. This person on is plus. So instead of just playing honored whatever that weapon is that you can just invest for one. There's a +2/+1 unfinished blade that's 3 gold, and you can invest it for one and just gain an honor straight up. With this thing, You can maybe gain 1 honor if you killed 1 province, but you can sometimes gain 2 honor.
2
Which I'm
honor.
like,
Yeah. I mean, like, what a greedy card. Like, you're not gonna just take your 1 honor like you're supposed to. Like, I'm going for the long game.
so you needed some cheap. You need some cheap items to fill things out for draft, and it's got the honor keyword, and that's pretty much all I can say about it. Other than
I
why
could say a
can't you
lot of
just let
things
it?
about it.
Why can't it? It's another one of those cards that you put it and says gain 2 honor. It's still not a good card. It's still not a competitive card. You're never gonna play. Pro tip, kids: play cards that help you take provinces, not cards that reward you for having already done so. There you go. I've imparted to you. Great.
Right, like why isn't
Game.
this is like one of those cards that's like why doesn't it just say gain an honor when you blow a province? And like it's still a
I
bad card, but at least it's a compelling card. Like if it had
should
both.
say 2 honor, right? It should be 2 honor. There's a follower that gains 2 honor when you take a province that I think is currently legal.
I think so too. We had to make something different. Like, okay. This is such a
Yeah,
crane card. This is such a like I'm playing a crane military switch where I'm gonna take all your provinces and then I'm gonna honor out and then I'm gonna attack for your last province at 42 and I'm gonna play my revered blaze to get 3 points because I took 3 provinces. Like, forget you, man. What this card really is spirit meta.
Yeah.
You're not gonna play the game
guess.
with me? Like whatever. Ritual
Yeah.
honor.
No, it bugs me out. I looked it up. So there's a rare follower from 20 festivals, personal instructor. It's a 2-force follower for 2 gold, which of course nobody plays because you got to do more than be a 2-force. That's after battle resolution in which you destroyed an army or units at a pro game. Nobody plays that. Nobody's gonna play this.
That's
But,
units. It's not. You can't crack a province on a pros and take 2. Like once upon a time in L5R, like crack a province on a pros gain 2 was okay.
so.
You know when that was? When honor requirements mattered.
Another pH boost. There's a ton of these now, so I'm really looking
They're
forward.
everywhere. No, but they were everywhere before. We had like 3 different little dirtily honor.
I have to super check. Are we still capped randomly at 5 pH?
I have no.
That
Please don't ask me these questions. I
I
am not required. I plead the
we can
fifth.
now get up to pHs of like 80 million. Like I'm really curious to see.
You can lions. I'm gonna lion's roar for arbitrarily large, and you take that.
Yep.
Thing is, it's all on armor and weapons. So like the best you can get is +2. Increased by 1 the first of your honor gains each turn from actions from or targeting this personality. So I attach this to my courtier, and then I play favors and gain 3, like wombo combo.
Right. And so this is just a straight math question. We've talked about these before, where it's like, how many cards do I like? I need to play 4 cards off that guy to get 4 points of honor for 3 gold, which is like okay.
This might see fringe play in Crane because you can put it on like Shigagori, the one that's like discard their top card and then you gain 2 or they lose focus.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any
like guys
other
with recursive
any like
honor gains.
like power guy gain an honor thing.
Yeah, there's the one Shugenja the 5 gold courtier mammy that's like discard the favor gain 1. This is like discard the favor gain 2, and then like lobby turns into like favors, and maybe that's okay.
Right, so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something that's generated from a personality that's like gain an honor that you could put this on, do it. You need to do 4 times, I'd say, and then you've gotten 4 honor out of 3 gold, which is good. And if you can get slightly more than that, you're even better off, right?
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, like the only.
What about your Phoenix Destined guy, the guy that's like, if they don't take the consecrate the provinces guy, would this be there?
Yeah,
You think?
I mean, if it ends up being a build of like Phoenix or Crane that plays just like 40 honor cards to try to bomb their stuff out, like this will make the cut just because it fills it out and because you can randomly chuck it down in corner case situations. Like on turn 2, you buy your guy on 1 or whatever, and then on 2 you sort of do the math and realize like, okay, I can get more value out of this by doing it this way.
And this is one of those where they made it a trait instead of an interrupt, and I'm not sure why. I feel like it would fit very simply as an interrupt, just because that always caps it as once per turn. I'm not sure, like, the value of it. I guess because of the way bowing works. Like, maybe why can't this be?
No, I agree. This is one of those. It's just like sloppy editing. It's like.
Yeah, why couldn't this just be an interrupt on the armor itself?
It's just sloppiness. Like, it's L5R design. I mean, I'll give a pass. Like, L5R design team's not that big, but if it was a tighter team, if there was people doing like editing on these cards, it would be much better. Let's keep going. Let's go to the 7 gold. This is a pole arm, two-handed. So remember,
Okay,
you have a
this
period
is,
shift.
we think, the card that Tetsuo specifically references
It's
on
Tetsuo's
his
weapon.
personality.
Nah, it's gotta
But
just be
he specifically asks for Tetsuo's polearm, right?
right.
And this is called Tetsuo's Nagamaki.
And it is itself a
But
pole arm.
I just clearly this is what he's referencing. So it goes on Tetsuo for 2 less. My thoughts is it's pretty great on Tetsuo.
5 gold for 3/2, and then it like no bow melee 3. That has
Yeah.
like additional upside because he bows his weapon to like straighten himself or something.
I mean, it's great on Tetsuo, right? +3/+2 for 5 with a no ball melee 3. That's all good.
Okay, but that's a singular unique guy. Like, is it great on like okay, let's we have a ton of these 7 gold stuffs. Like how does this stack up against like the whatever
Very poorly.
thunder
The answer to your question on all that other stuff is
demolisher?
very poorly. Nobody plays Crude Daikyu, which is the one you would play if you want just like a melee ranged attack. There's Sohai's Ono, which is +2/+1 for 7, which makes a melee 4. Nobody really plays that. I played it for a little while, but very few
It's
people
been
do.
played. I've seen it in lists.
Okay, but like it's in that wheelhouse. But 3, we've pretty much hit. We're at a saturation point on melee and range 3 attacks. And so then it's like, what else are you bringing to the table? Bringing +3/+2. I just don't think it's enough. But
Like,
people play a lot of, like, if it had Destined, people play a lot of Legion of the Con stuff. So
yeah.
I'm sure it'll pop up in some places. In fact, I think it'll pop up in some of those decks where you'll play it to interact with Legion of the Con, right? Like if you double up those two on a cavalry unit, you're in a pretty great. One's a melee, one's a range, but now you've got probably a 9-force cavalry unit that can make a range 3 and make a melee 3.
Yeah. I can see it. I mean, how does this stack up against a card like
And it's
Ono
great for something like a
Thunder?
Tataken Sensei deck where you melee and then melee again. I mean, it's a fine card.
Yeah, that's a really good interaction. I love it. I love it. Tataken Sensei.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a card that's going to see some play.
It'll see some play.
I don't want to. I think it actually kind of feels rare to me. I'm a little surprised they made it uncommon.
Yeah, I don't know how the Mountainborn hit rare, but that one didn't make the cut. Threshing Flail. This is pretty.
End with our Destined Peasant weapon. So you really want me to play Los Cuivos? How do I say it in Spanish? Los Cuivos.
You say Los Keyword Juegos, but no, the weapons one I've decided is French. That's Le Jeu de Mots-Clés.
Got it. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, so if you want me to care about Peasant, one thing you could do is like make him Destined. And then I guess maybe I could have 4 copies. Can you have? No, you can't have 4 copies of any Peasant. Just the ones that say you can have. So I can't even have 4 copies
of that.
I'm done. I got nothing, man. This is just like trash.
Yeah, it's what's like a 1/1. It's not even a 2/1. Like the fear is, we hate fear. It couldn't just be. I want to. I'm like reaching for some. I'm a part of this show. We release it to the public. I'm supposed to have commentary. I really have nothing to say about
coming to the end. It's like, does anyone play Utaku's Destiny? That's the +2/+1 for 4 Destined. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
But the people who do play it are playing it for 4 focus value dual stuff. So that disqualifies.
Well, there was like the one deck at Gen Con that played just every Destined weapon, right?
Yeah, well, a lot of Destined cards, but there's enough other stuff now that like Destined's just not enough. You need it to be like +3/+1 or something. I mean, the numbers are just.
It's close, but the one force for 4 gold is just not good enough.
Yep.
But I mean, it's close, and it even has like an additional payment downside. So like you're paying 4 gold and a dishonor effect, which is like almost nothing, but it's not nothing. It does exist for 1 force, 1 chi, and like a bad ability. So like pass. I'll just play my Box of Mysteries over this.
That's it. So speaking of, so you referenced Box of Mysteries, and the last card was the item that has been for me the biggest Box of Mystery and sort of how I feel about it. I think I sort of talked myself into loving it, and that is Weathered Armor. It's got the ever popular +3 force -1 chi stat.
Of course.
I have a bizarre fun for even recently. There's the item that like vows to eat something and gets a little bigger that forces you to attack every turn that no one plays but me. That gives me +3 force.
Oh yeah, Blade of Toshigoku. Whatever. I thought that was going to be a really played card. Man, I called that one wrong.
if you make a card with +3 force -1 G, somehow I end up playing it. I don't know what that says about me. I look at my guys with 2 G and I don't know. We can go lower. We can go lower. I don't want anything of fire popping out.
Paul will be attaching this to endo like left and right.
So it's so weird. So actions cannot move this person, and that's a symmetrical effect. So obviously I can't move my guy in, but you can't move him away.
Yeah, can't cav either, amusingly. It's not actions from cards, it's just actions.
No, actions, nothing. Favor, nothing. Nothing can do. This guy does not move. He's stuck down in armor.
He is a
and
rock.
There are decks where that's a really cool and powerful effect. Very sort of Filipino-esque decks, right? Where it's like, I put this on, and I go, and I stay.
Yep.
And then the Tireless Battle, which, if this card was reserved, I would be all over it. Where it's like, you can't move this guy, and then I'll pick this up, and I'll put it down, and maybe they don't want you doing that. So, Tireless Battle, so even if it's bound, I can pick it back up to my hand to run my guy away, or if I'm going to leave. No, it's a really interesting card. I like it a lot.
Yep.
You don't have to be close to pick it up, so I can put it down, I can attack, and then I can put it on a guy I just bought as a sort of defensive measure to make my sticks around. I mean, I think this is a really fascinating card, and I'm going to play it in a bunch of decks and see how it impacts things strategically. It might not be good, and it might actually just end up being kind of obnoxious and stupid, but I mean, I can see myself putting it on some resilient guys. I can see myself playing it in sort of tower aggressive decks. I can see myself, working on it, and I think that's a fun design.
This is a really cool card. I completely agree with everything that you just said. This is like an interesting card. It's a simple card that's doing a lot. It has a lot of different applications.
Yep. The flavor just works. So I get it. The I'm old enough to move around it. I get it.
Yep. I don't think so. Like, I've talked how move home effects aren't the most popular things right now, but
they're in every deck.
Even what I like about this card is that ability is so strategically flexible that even if they don't have any movement effects, you're still getting value out of this card, and that's cool.
Yeah, you buy it, you put it here, and then you can attach it somewhere else. I like it. I really, So this was a big hit for me, and it doesn't seem like it would be at first. We've seen there's so many other effects you can play that are just don't send me home, guy. But this is a really cool one. So.
But this one is just it's so final, All the other don't negate an action here or there. This card just doesn't play around. I'm not moving.
Right,
get out of my face.
Disregard doesn't interact with the favor, and something requires opposition to move back, and all this. This is just no. I'm just here.
I'm just staying. Here I am.
We're doing this. We're gonna do this.
All right. So that was the items. Yeah. Let us know what you think. Will you play Weathered Armor? Do you think that Tetsuo's Nagimaka only?
How do you feel this trapping of let's go to Walmart story prizes was represented in the cards? We didn't talk a lot about that.
Yeah, in the comments, please itemize all of the story prizes your clan was due to receive that we'll never receive.
Yeah. Some of these were story prize hits. One assumed. I didn't actually pull it up.
And this has been enough talk. I'm Jesse, that is Paul. Catch you next time when we review spells.